Gonna walk down to the Capitol.
On Wednesday, a massive crowd descended on Washington, D.C. to support President Trump and his campaign to overturn the results of the November election. 13th District Congressman Ronnie Jackson attended the president's rally before going to the Hill to challenge the Electoral College votes.
And it will stand in recess until the call of the chair.
But as the House debated, a ruckus outside the chamber caught the eyes of the newly sworn-in Congressman Ronnie Jackson and Pat Fallon.
I knew right away it wasn't a bomb threat, because when there's a bomb threat, you don't lock people inside the chamber and post people with weapons inside the doors. And I knew immediately that someone had breached security and they were inside the building.
And then we hear some noise. They come back on the microphones, the Capitol Police, and scream. They have breached. They're in Statuary Hall now. And Statuary Hall is very close to where we actually meet. And we're thinking, how does this happen?
In the House, members rushed for cover, some in gas masks.
And then all of a sudden we heard like a lot of yelling and a lot of loud noise out, and there's all kinds of commotion, and then you can hear like just a pop, 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 right? And they were like, hey, everybody get your gas mask. We may have to evacuate in a second. Tear gas is being deployed in the Capitol.
As the mob broke in through the windows, swarming the building, they made their way through the first floor of the Capitol, up the stairs, and approached the chambers. As some evacuated, it turned into survival mode for Jackson, Fallon, and members of the Texas and Oklahoma delegations who stayed behind to protect the House.
I'm not going to leave them. They're brothers. So I went over.
Several of us just started picking up furniture and piling it in front of the door to try to stop them from coming through. And we actually were going to the extremes of, like, we took some podiums that were in there, some chairs, broke the legs off of them so that we could use them as weapons, because for all practical purposes, we didn't have anywhere to go. And it looked like they were going to be entering the chamber any minute.
I went over and there was a hand sanitizer, this thing, right?
Wow.
And it came off remarkably easy. I put my foot down and just ripped it off, and then took the jagged edge and faced this way, and we were ready to either poke or slam.
And then what sounded like gunshots.
And we were waiting for them to come in with these legs of these tables and stuff that we broke off. And about that time, I heard pop, 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 and the glass started shattering. And I think it was shots that were being fired through the top of the glass. And that's when several people, including myself, just yelled, "Shots fired," and we just kind of hit the ground.
Mark Wayne Mullen said, "I'm going to be the last person that leaves this chamber." And Ronnie said, "Well, I'm not going anywhere." And then Tony Gonzalez and Troy Nails looked back and just nodded reassuringly. And that look you get where we're all in this together. And that's where I started really welling up, because I'm surrounded by lions. And I started welling up with tears, going, the bravery and the selflessness that I was surrounded by, it was an ocean of it. And then I remember from my Notre Dame days, we'd be up in the locker room before a big game in the center. Tim Grunhart would scream, "This is our house. We will protect our house." So I literally repeated his words, because this is our house.
Luckily, Capitol Police were finally able to get members and staff into a safe, undisclosed location before rioters breached the chambers, ransacking the hollowed halls. Some protesters became looters, turning the Capitol inside out. Some of them getting access to the Senate floor. Others managed to get inside the offices of lawmakers.
I don't know who these people are. I don't know what their motives are. I don't really care at this point. I think that we will be able to identify them. As far as I'm concerned, they're domestic terrorists, and this is not the way that we handle things in this country.
We don't need to have this go any further, and we need to call it out for what it was. I don't love, nor do I respect, the lawbreakers from yesterday, because they hijacked the folks the vast majority of the folks that came all the way to Washington, D.C. to their capital to express their opinions and exercise their First Amendment rights.
Jackson and Fallon say from here they hope Congress can turn a page and use this as inspiration to work together on policies that will better not only Texans but Americans. However, they say there are lessons that should be learned.
It can't happen again. And then from our chamber standpoint, we need to unite when we can, and when we disagree, don't be disagreeable.
Both Jackson and Fallon did formally object to Electoral College votes when Congress resumed debate last night, but Fallon says that now that it's all over, he hopes the president will be cooperative as the transition of power begins.